Babel's Dawn presents the fourth in a series of videos about what makes language unusual. This time, we will consider why language is so unusual. Probably the most common reason proposed for limiting language to humans is the matter of intelligence. Other animals are just not smart enough to speak to one another. But that is evidently wrong. During the 1960s and 70s, there were a number of efforts to teach apes, mainly chimpanzees, to use sign language, and it turned out they could do it. Chimpanzees, bonobos, and gorillas all were able to learn a few signs for things and ask for them. They could also combine signs to form phrases and even create original phrases. A famous incident occurred when a human asked a chimp what that was, pointing to a swan. The chimp replied with the signs for water and bird, coining a phrase on the spot. So apes are clearly smart enough to use language at least at the level of toddlers who speak in 1, 2, and even 3-word phrases. Yet, they do not do it. It turns out that even after learning to use sign language, they did not talk among themselves. Why not? There is another strange absence among apes. They do not direct one another's attention to points of interest. They are smart enough to know the importance of attention and will slap the ground to get a fellow's attention, but they do not draw attention to topics, which we have seen in previous videos are crucial to language. Captive apes will point things out to humans, knowing the human will do something about it, but they do not seem to point things out in the wild. They seem to have no urge to share information, something 18-month-old humans do all the time. You can see the difference in the eyes. Surrounding the lens portion of the eye is a large area called the sclera. In humans, the sclera are white, making it easy to see where people are looking. Apes and other animals have black sclera, making it much harder to tell where they have turned their attention. Thus, on a purely physical level, humans are built for sharing attention. There are a relatively few types of animals that share information. Ants, bees, termites, the eusocial insects, have extensive communication systems. Bees even tell one another where to find sources of pollen. Dolphins coordinate actions with special signals. These supersocial or communal species tend to thrive as they help one another, yet they are a rarity among animals. Most animals live separate lives, even if they are part of a herd or swarm. Everybody looks out for number one and lets the others sink or swim. The reason for this rough nature is not hard to find. Darwinian competition tends to favor the strongest and luckiest. If a squirrel stumbles upon a useful piece of information, perhaps a way to find extra nuts, there is no advantage in letting a rival in on the secret. Actually, there would be an advantage if all squirrels shared their discovery and nuts equally. Then, instead of merciless competition, they would have the benefits of cooperation. But evolution does not make cooperation easy. Suppose you have a cooperative bunch of squirrels, and along comes a selfish squirrel. It gets the benefits of cooperation, plus the benefits of selfishness, and undermines the whole system. So it is hard to evolve truly cooperative species. Somehow, the genus Homo evolved a cooperative nature. At the age of 3, human children undergo a rapid change as deep as puberty. They become part of a community, playing with other children, talking more richly, and taking on the basics of their culture. How this evolutionary step occurred remains a subject of speculation. Perhaps pressures from life on the African savanna pushed it, or maybe the demands of childbearing became too much for mothers alone to bear. All we know for certain is humans are among the rare supersocials of the world, and are far and away the most intelligent of that group. Traditional inquiry into language origins has focused on intelligence or symbolic thinking, but the really unusual requirement is membership in a community. Our ancestors were probably living supersocial lives almost 3 million years ago, giving us plenty of time to develop whole sentences and metaphorical verbs. Today, people are born to be cultural creatures. We have almost no innate skills or prejudices, but we are sponges, absorbing whatever words and cultural rules we find around us. It is our membership in a community that gives us the motive to discuss topics and pay joint attention to the news we have to share. In theory, apes could do these things too, but without a desire to be part of a community, they just don't do it. So in the end, language is unusual because people are unusually cooperative.